Hey guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This video is another video in our biology series. This video is what God of War characters represent brain chemicals. Should be a pretty interesting one. This was suggested to me by an awesome viewer, so if you're watching this, thank you for the suggestion. But yeah, what God of War characters represent different brain chemicals. If you're new to this series where I try to associate brain chemicals to different representations of characters in films and shows. That being said, starting off with Kratos from God of War. Kratos is a tough one. He has two brain chemicals that he represents, in my opinion. Starting off with the first game, God of War game, Kratos is the sole embodiment of testosterone. This is because testosterone, just like Kratos, represents peak masculinity, strength, and power, and discipline, or strength and power. Through the first game, we could see that Kratos is an absolute tank and a beast, a pretty epic, pretty lit person who, in the first game, when I was researching it, is very dedicated and has a complete strength to fight Ares, the legend or god of war. And you might be wondering, why not adrenaline? And this is because our second brain chemical, adrenaline, goes to Ares. Ares, in the first game, in any game, represents pure rage and aggression. And you might be thinking, why not Kratos? Because he's pure rage and vengefulness in the first game after Ares sadly made Kratos execute his wife and his daughter, if I'm not mistaken, by accident, out of pure rage, and tricked him into doing so when he was not thinking clearly. Just for the heck of it, for him to help him take over Olympus. But the reason I still don't give Kratos adrenaline is because Ares is the pure embodiment of anger and aggression in the first game, we can see. So that's why Ares still represents, even though Kratos is very aggressive in the first game, adrenaline as well. Moving on to the second game, the second and third games, Kratos becomes, after Kratos successfully executes Ares, also spoilers if you haven't played the God of War games, so just to let you guys know. But after Kratos successfully executes Ares in the first game and becomes the Legend of War, or God of War, quote unquote, the second game, this is when Kratos hits his second brain chemical, adrenaline. Adrenaline is in the body, represents our fight or flight, survival, and pure aggression and powerful rage, basically. And just like our people with their pure aggression and protective instincts and anger, Kratos in the second game goes ham. He goes insane on all the legends or gods of Olympus. He goes crazy, and I'd argue he's very rageful in the first game, but potentially, maybe the first game, if I'm not mistaken. But potentially, if I'm not mistaken, he's probably a little even more rageful because someone he sort of trusted, Zeus, betrays him in the second game and tricks him into losing all his powers, or his legendhood or godhood, in the second game. That being said, he moves from testosterone, pure strength, and a little bit of aggression to full aggression, adrenaline, and rage, essentially being the Legend of War, God of War, in the second and third game, where he goes ham, goes crazy. So this leads us to our third brain chemical in representation, Zeus. Zeus in God of War. I was like, who can be the best representation of serotonin? Because usually I give serotonin to people who keep the group together and is optimistic. No one in God of War is optimistic or keeps the group together, really. But then I was thinking, if we go solely off the first game, even though he's not super optimistic or kind in the first game, I would say before Zeus betrays Kratos, he's the perfect, a decent representation of serotonin. And this is because he keeps all the gods in check in the first game, except Ares. And even Kratos, some of the gods and legends help Kratos defeat Ares in the first game with like abilities and stuff. And because of this, Zeus is the perfect embodiment, or a decent embodiment, of serotonin in the first game. However, in the second and third game, when he's ruled by worry and fear, embodiment of cortisol, this is because, as people with serotonin, first off, what makes us optimistic and keeps all the other brain chemicals in check. But cortisol makes us overall fearful, a sense of anxiety, and not like norepinephrine or which motivates us to take action with a little bit of fear, and adrenaline, which directs us our fear. Cortisol is an overwhelming fear, but you're not sure why. Basically, the embodiment of anxiety. And Zeus is a perfect embodiment of paranoia ever since Pandora's box gets opened, if I'm not mistaken. I think in the second end of the first game, whenever Pandora's box gets open, he transitions from, I think it's the first game actually. Pandora's box is open in the first game to defeat Ares. Zeus becomes extremely paranoid, and that's why he betrays him in the beginning of the second game. So Zeus, even though he's not the traditional serotonin type, represents serotonin before he goes insane, or becomes very fearful due to being corrupted by fear in the second game, in the third game. Next up, Aphrodite. Aphrodite, I was trying to figure out who could fit the mold of dopamine. Dopamine is usually I give to characters and people who are usually players and do what they want, carefree, do what they want, and typically very intimate driven people. So Aphrodite, you can see in the game, especially once she's infected with lust from Pandora's box, if I'm not mistaken, becomes very driven and doesn't even care that the world's ending and all the legends or gods are being slain by Kratos after his brutal bloodbath and revengeance on Zeus. She just chills and keeps making out with people, and even Kratos, and has no care what's going on in the world. So she'd be the perfect embodiment of dopamine as people, because dopamine represents our instant gratification and reward centers. Dopamine's like the awesome, lit hormone where we just chill and just indulge and are motivated by that indulgence and feeling good in our lives. So she's an embodiment of dopamine, I would say. Oxytocin, I usually give to people who are loving and are in serious relationships. This was perfect for Hephaestus, a legend or god of blacksmith in the game, because even though Aphrodite, the dopamine, the person who gets with a lot of people, the woman who gets with a lot of people, very intimate, lustful potentially, he sticks and stays loyal to his wife, Aphrodite, and he deeply, even though no legend or god in God of War represents completely the good, loving, and serious relationship type of oxytocin, usually given, I would say, Hephaestus, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, is the pure embodiment, the purest form of love and kindness in the game before Kratos. Because he truly cares about his daughter, Pandora, and he tries to send Kratos on task so she doesn't get hurt, or he doesn't use her to open Pandora's box, because he truly cares and loves his daughter, Pandora, in the box, and he cares and stays with his wife, even though she constantly cheats on him and disrespects him. He still loves her, which is crazy. But anyway, still loves her, which is crazy. But also, he deeply loves his daughter, Pandora. Norepinephrine. Oh, also I didn't explain oxytocin really well. Oxytocin in our body is when we bond with people, the primary bonding hormone. So this is whenever you touch, like, even someone and like high five, a little bit of oxytocin is released. And this is the primary love hormone that keeps people connections as friends and as relationships. So it's a very important hormone because it's what makes us feel connected to other people biologically, potentially. The next one is norepinephrine. This is represented by Athena. Norepinephrine is usually given, I give these people who are disciplined and focus on, are self-driven, similar to dopamine. The key difference between norepinephrine characters and dopamine characters is dopamine are usually self-driven, indulgent, I would say, not borderline self-centered characters, sometimes, potentially. And very indulgent. Norepinephrine is also self-oriented and motivated, how it's more so disciplined and not easily given out to personal impulses, but so usually serves a greater purpose, and Athena helps guide Kratos the most, if I'm not mistaken. But even she is somewhat self-driven and self-centered, kinda, in a way, a little bit. And when she gets infected, when Pandora's box is open, she wants to take all the credit for helping humanity, not away from Kratos, potentially. Conclusion, Kratos, in the beginning of the game, could represent adrenaline, but I would say represents testosterone, peak masculinity, strength, and power to take down Ares, the god of war, the legend of war. Ares, first game, adrenaline, anger, severe anger, aggression, and just malignant in a way, even though cool guy, still cool guy, but malignant, not a good person in the first game, pretty brutal. Later on, second and third game till the very end. At this point, Kratos is so done with all the stuff and becomes completely enraged and becomes adrenaline. Zeus keeps the legends and gods together in the first game, becomes clearly paranoid and anxious and insane, sadly, which is a really shame, in the second game, and becomes cortisol, the human body's stress hormone, and makes us stressed out. Hephaestus, I think that's the name, the blacksmith, is actually one of the kindest and most caring, if it's possible, in the God of War series, if I'm not mistaken, because he deeply cares and has a connection with his wife who cheats on him, potentially, and his daughter, to keep her safe from Kratos. Athena is self-driven but disciplined and not overindulgent, so she would represent norepinephrine, which the brain chemical of discipline and attention and motivation. So yeah, I think that's all the brain chemicals I had planned for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.